Hey, Jason Seiden, week two. This week, one of the things I've been writing about that I wanted to share today was this idea of the question is the answer. And this has become a shortcut for me when I'm making decisions. And it comes from a desire to do what I've been told to do my entire life, and I'm guessing you have too, which is go with your gut. Your gut instinct's never wrong, follow your gut. And what I realized over and over and over again while I was busy not listening to my gut is that my gut doesn't feel like anything. I've had some experiences, but those experiences when I've felt stuff, when I thought about it, I realized what I was feeling was a connection. I felt connections. Appropriately enough, one of them was at a conference where I was listening to a speaker talk about intuition. And when she interrupted her presentation, room full of 1,000 people, and she interrupted that presentation to call on 3 people, just out of nowhere, just kind of like as an aside, do a quick little mini reading. I see this about you and about you and about you. I knew about 10 seconds earlier, I felt it, that I was going to be one of those 3 people. I had this feeling like I was in an elevator and somebody was standing too close behind me, like there was somebody in my personal space. And I knew it. I felt that connection. Later in that same presentation, when she asked us to turn to the person next to us and just say the first thing that came to mind, I didn't feel anything. So when I looked at this woman, and as like what I thought was a joke, it was like, "You like cantaloupe?" And she proceeded to tell me how that was her favorite color and show me pictures of her kitchen, which is cantaloupe colored, and her purse, which had a cantaloupe lining and all this stuff. I was like, well, that's interesting, you know. But I didn't feel anything. And over again in my life, I have found that to be the case. And so I was thinking about this a couple years ago. When your intuition doesn't feel like anything, how do you figure out what your gut feeling is versus any one of the other million random thoughts going through your head? And after some trial and error, because I nerd out over this stuff, what I discovered was that the question, it's actually a specific question. It's not just the question is the answer. The question is, where did that thought come from? When I'm working on something and I'm dissecting it analytically and I'm putting together a model or I'm figuring out a decision tree, sometimes I'll go from A to Z and I'll do the whole thing and it's just is what it is. Sometimes while I'm doing it, I'll get this ping, I'll get this random thought. And the way that my brain speaks to me, it's often a joke. You know, and some of them are just like, haha, it's funny, I'll share it, I move on. But some of them will kind of catch my attention where I'll literally do this like mental double take where I'll be like, why did I think of that? That's weird. You know, or I just dismissed that idea. Why is it back? You know, some form of where did this come from? That's it. The question is the answer. Where did that thought come from? Oh, from the place that tells me that this is what I should be paying attention to. That's where it came from. So it works for me. Like big things, little things. I had to go downtown. I was in Lincoln Park, little after 6. If you've ever tried to park there, forget it. It's a nightmare. I'm just going to a place I go to a million times. Approaching an intersection, little voice in my head's like, what if you went straight? And I was like, well, never go straight here. Like literally, I do not take that route. It adds like 5 minutes. And I said to myself, question's the answer, gotta do it. And sure enough, I ended up with pole position parking right in front of where I was trying to go. It happens at work too. Like I had a conversation recently. I'm doing some marketing work for a company, and I just had this thought popped into my head while I was talking to my client. I was like, ask about the org chart. I'm like, well, that's so weird. Like I'm nested in this tiny little piece of the org chart. What do I care? But I asked, and sure enough, there was a question. Even they had a question. There was an unresolved issue, and it's something that I, you know, from my past life, I knew something about. And so we were able to reconfigure some stuff so that the work I do will be more leverageable across the broader organization. I never would have known about it had I not asked that question. And I can't tell you where it came from. All I can tell you is when I started asking myself, where did that come from? Done, act. So try it out. Let me know how it works for you. The question is the answer. If you're anything like me and your head's full of just noise, this might be a real nice, easy way in 2022 to cut to the chase and make some of those decisions a little bit quicker and less painful.